off last week with algebraic expressions, but I thought this was really good. It says algebraic expressions can be written from verbal descriptions. Likewise, verbal descriptions can be written from algebraic expressions. In both cases, it's important to look for word and number clues. So if you look right here, algebra from words, 1/3 of the participants increased by 25. Okay, 1/3 of the participants increased by 25. So really important words, 1/3, the word increased, and the word 25 would be really important. Okay, so it says clues. Look for number words, like 1/3. Sometimes it's just spelled out for you. Sometimes the number is given. Sometimes it's written as a decimal. So look what they did here. They combined the clues to represent the expression 1/3 P. They used P for participants, and then it was increased by 25. So remember that 1/3 could also just be written, because it's 1/3 P, 1/3 of P, can also just be written as P over 3. That's really important to see this. Okay, and increased obviously means to add. Take a look at this here, words from algebra. Write 75/100ths times n, subtract and then subtract 1/2 m with words. So again, what they're saying here is you need to look at the clues, and then you have to come up with some sort of description. Okay, so if you look here, identify the number of parts of the problem. Here's this. Okay, take a look at the first part. This means 3/4 of n, because of is multiplication. Or 75/100ths of n. Remember, 3/4 and 75/100ths are the same thing. The exact meaning will depend on the problem. A subtraction symbol means minus or decreased by or less than. So 1/2 m is 1/2 of m, or m over 2. Remember, guys, I could write this as m over 2. It's the same thing, just as we saw here. Okay. So if you take a look here, it says write a verbal description for each algebraic expression. 100 minus 5n. Remember, that means 5 times n. So I just gave an example like this. 100 minus 5 times the number of cars. So again, they gave me the algebraic expression, and I had to come up with words to describe it. So take a look at this one. Okay, this is what I came up with. 25/100ths of the apartments and 1/16ths of the condos. You could just say and. Okay. The next one was right here. Remember, guys, this could also be written as 1/13. Okay. So look what I said. 1/13 of the difference between 3 times n and 8 times the number of pliers. Okay, so if we're going to use hammers and pliers, sorry. So 1/13, remember, this really represents 1/13. Right? That's the same thing as writing it as this. 1/13 of the difference between 3 times the number of hammers, just use that for hammers, and 8 times the number of pliers. Probably should have used an H and a P to make better sense out of that. Now take a look here. This time they gave you the verbal description. You have to come up with the algebraic expression. It says half of the 7th graders and 1/3 of the 8th graders were divided into 10 teams. Sorry about that. Half of the 7th graders and 1/3 of the 8th graders were divided into 10 teams. 1/2 of the 7th graders and 1/2 of the 8th graders were divided into 10 teams. I could also write it like this. 1/2 of the 7th plus 1/2 of the 8th divided by 10. Okay. The next one said 30% of the greenhouse flowers are added to 25 ferns for the school garden. 30% of the greenhouse flowers are added to 25 ferns for the school garden. Remember, 30% is also 0.3 or 0.30. I took off the unimportant zero here. Okay, so 3/10 F plus 25, and the F, I used an F because it said 30% of the greenhouse flowers, okay, are added to the 25 ferns. 4 less than 3 times the number of egg orders, and 6 more than 2 times the number of waffle orders. 4 less than 3 times the number of egg orders, and 6 more than 2 times the number of waffle orders. So I did use the egg as E and the waffle as a W. 3 times E minus 4, and 6 plus 2W. Okay, remember that was 4 less than 3 times the number of egg orders, and 6 more than 2 times the number of waffle orders. Okay. Now you guys are going to do page 120, which I'm going to take a picture of and put that on Google Classroom. Okay, so it's going to look like this. Okay, I'm going to take a picture of it, and you guys should be able to blow that up on your screen. Let me try to flatten that out a little bit. Okay, have a great Tuesday.